We are back with another monthly portfolio update. First off, hope you guys are all doing wonderful, and thanks for stopping by. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you are new here, I share portfolio updates every single month, show you how this portfolio has performed, and share the dividends that it's earned as well. And hopefully it can inspire you to start your own investing journey if you haven't already. So with that said, the total value of the portfolio is $45,800. The total market gain since the inception of the portfolio is about $17,700. So that's going to be the capital gain appreciation. And then dividends earned, that's going to equate to about $4,300. So both of those combined, that's about a $22,000 gain. And from a time-weighted rate of return, that's just about 106%. Now, since I've started this portfolio, technology has been the best performer. And so here in my technology pie, I added some tech companies that I really liked over the past few years, and clearly Broadcom is the biggest winner by far, over 1,000% increase. Then the next best one is Apple at about 250%. So yeah, technology over the past 4 or 5 years has been just ridiculous. Just with the boom of AI and everything, it's really not that surprising, but I never would have expected anything like 1,000%, so that's pretty crazy. Lowest performing sector has been consumer. Nike hasn't been doing all that great, and then a lot of other stuff is in that 10 to 40% range. So while it's not bad, a lot of these are still in the green. Definitely not as great as technology has been, but the trade-off with that is these companies are probably a little less volatile. That's a pretty big concept when it comes to investing, is risk versus reward. Just depends on yourself as an investor how much risk tolerance you have. Now let's take a peek at the past month. So overall, nothing too crazy. We actually had a little bit of a down month, down $367 total, down about $450 from capital gains, but the dividends were able to pick up a little bit of slack. But overall, that's about a 0.8% decrease. And just like the overall performance, technology had the best month. You can see they're one of the few sectors that are actually in the green. Broadcom had a 6% increase, Apple about 4.7%. Tesla had a pretty good month at 7.5%, but then that was pretty much canceled out by Texas Instruments at negative 8.5%. But overall, a pretty solid month for technology. I think it's just going to get more crazy with the rise of AI, so super excited to see what the future holds in that respect. But the worst performing sector was industrials. Genuine Parts Company and Fastenal down 10 and 12% respectively. Even Waste Management was down about 9%. And the only thing really keeping this alive was Caterpillar. They had a pretty decent month, over 14% from them, but they're my lowest weighted company in this sector, so it had a little less of an impact. But overall, not a terrible month. I've definitely seen worse. And one thing I want to stress is that while I do look at monthly performance, I'm honestly not that concerned with it. I'm looking at more of the bigger picture stuff, longer trends. I personally have a longer timeline. I'm not looking to take all this money out right now. So what happens in the time frame of a month, a year, or even 5 years for that matter, it doesn't really hold too much weight for me. I just know that if I stick to good investing principles, that when I'm ready to make use of this money, it'll be where I want it to be. All right, now let's check out the dividends and see what we got paid out this month. Oh, I should mention as well that I did offload AT&T and I picked up more VTI and Costco. So that's one trade I had this month. Didn't feel that great about AT&T, so I sold that and just put it into some holdings that I'm a little bit more confident about. But the first payout comes from Coca-Cola. They paid $4.15. Then we go into VTI. This is probably my favorite ETF that I hold just because it is comprised of a lot of different companies, a lot of big companies, a lot of mid-sized companies, and a decent amount of smaller companies as well. I think it's a pretty good indicator of the entire stock market. And out of the ETFs that I have in this portfolio, VTI has been the best performer. So I personally really like this ETF, but they paid $13.25 $2.46. Then Nike paid $1.04. We saw Genuine Parts Company had a pretty bad month, but they paid out $8.29 in dividend payouts. Then we have Vici Properties, and if you guys aren't familiar, they are a real estate company. And they hold a lot of gaming properties, so essentially casinos. A majority of the properties on the Las Vegas Strip are owned by Vici, and then companies pay rent to Vici, but they paid $10.96 in dividend payouts. Then Realty Income Corp, monthly paying company, they paid $6.41. Then Stag Industrial, another monthly paying real estate company, $2.68 from them. DTE Energy paid out $3.11. Another ETF, this is SPHD from Invesco, and this one is monthly paying as well, but they paid $9.20. Cisco Corporation, this is the food distribution company. We got $4.66 from them. And then to cap off October, we got $8.33 from JP Morgan. So when we add all that up, the total comes out to about $72. And we are on track to hit $1,000 this year in dividend income. So that is very exciting to see. This time last year, we were at about $65, a slight increase from that time. I would have liked it to be a little bit more, but life happens sometimes. Got expenses, so I haven't been able to inject as much cash into this portfolio as I would like. But overall, investing in good quality companies that are able to increase their dividend payouts and increase their share price over time, that definitely helps. That plays a big factor in compound interest, and that's what I'm starting to see a little bit more and more here as time goes on. And by the way, if you do want a copy of the spreadsheet, I'll put a link in the description, but you can just click on File and then make a copy, and then you can just input your own numbers and see where you're at. And with that said, that is going to wrap up the video. And the first month of the quarter generally doesn't have as much dividend payouts as the last month does. So like December, for example, I expect to have a lot more. But either way, thanks so much for stopping by to check out the video. If you did enjoy it, hit that like button. And if you want more content from me, I would consider subscribing as well. Thanks again, and until next time, take it easy.